Now the next step will be to make the end papers before we can sew it all up. Now the end papers are going to be like this one with marble papers, and the white page on the inside is actually glued to the marbled paper, so you don't see the true back of that marbled paper. And then that will be the first very short signature of the book, with just the marbled paper and then the other one. And I'm going to show you how to glue those together so that they're nice and smooth and it doesn't wrinkle up. And that's our next step. Alright, I've prepared my end papers for gluing. The inside of the book will look like that, and it will be glued together to the first page of the book. And the back page will be the same thing, but you have to be careful not to make two front pages, because the marbled paper goes in a certain direction and you want it to be those humps to be facing up on both the front and the back, so they'll be glued like this. Now we'll be gluing these two different types of paper together, but what makes this possible is that you have established the grain of the paper, and the grain of both papers is going parallel with the spine. If you try to have one paper that's grain is perpendicular to the spine, you will not have any kind of usable result out of gluing these together. And something else I've found kind of through trial and error is that if you have glue on these two sections and these are dry, this will expand and this won't, and then you'll have all kinds of tension here at the intersection where between the dry side and the glued side. So what I do is take a sponge, squeeze most of the water out of it so it's just damp, and then dampen the entire page, and you'll see this shrivel up. It's better to do it now than when you're gluing it and it shrivels up on you. And so both pages, both sides of both pages are wet, and they will have expanded all that they're going to expand in advance of the gluing, and it makes it so much easier. I'm going to give these a second to relax before I glue them. Alright, we're ready to glue. We've got the marbled paper on this side, the normal paper on this side. The other half of each page is shielded from the glue. We brush on PVA glue onto here. I have a lot more luck with that than I do with the paste. And the other side, if you don't glue both sides, you also get some twisting and warping action, so just do both sides and you get a nice flat result eventually. It's kind of deep. Alright, fitting these together. You want to line these up as much as you can. It's very difficult when they're wet because the fold is less distinct than it is when they're dry. But get those right where you want them. And then fold it over and pull it into place. And there you go. You want to rub through wax paper and not onto the page itself while it's wet, because it will tear. Alright, I pushed a big glob of glue out of there, which is good. Now we got it completely flat now. And that one is glued up and ready to go. A little error there. And now I'll do the same thing for the second page. Okay, so the front and the back are glued up, and I'm just letting them sit here and air dry because the paper is really quite soggy right now. And when they're a little bit drier and I can be pretty sure that they're not going to get stuck, I'm going to put some pages between each page and put them flat between some boards so they'll dry nice and flat. Okay, what we have is the finished product here. It's dried and flattened and came out pretty well. You have the end paper. This side will be glued to the cover. This is the front, then the glued together one, and then the back. And to add to that, to make this signature a little fatter, is another set of pages. This one I've got a quote on it that'll be the front of the journal, about a quote which talks about keeping a notebook for writing down anything that's useful. And this will need to have holes in it to match the stitching that we've cut into the rest of the book. So we're not going to be able to cut those with the saw, because then we would cut through the end paper and you would see it on the opening, you would see the holes here on the opening of the book. So what we do here is we get the pages collected together where they're going to be flat on the head side. Then we take our template, and with the head side lined up here, better do this on the mat. We take an awl, put the marbled side up, take an awl, and it may be difficult for you to see this, but we will punch holes through the white pages only, so you won't see this on the marbled side, exactly on the lines that we've established in our template. It just takes a little push and you got the hole through there. Shift it a little. Alright, and one more. Okay, now we have holes. You won't be able to see that, but we have holes here that go through the white pages only, and then the marbled page is free from, doesn't have any holes in it. Now we're going to do that for the back of the book, and we will be ready to sew.